Our topic is strategic thinking. So let us start with the pertinent question. What is strategic thinking? What is strategic thinking? I want to read a few things, and honestly, I want you to just read along with me. That's what's going to make it very interesting for you. Strategic thinking is simply an intentional and rational thought process that focuses on the analysis of critical factors and variables that will influence the long-term success of a business, a team, or an individual. Strategic thinking includes careful and deliberate anticipation of threats and vulnerabilities to guard against, and opportunities to pursue. Ultimately, strategic thinking and analysis lead to a clear set of goals, plans, and new ideas required to survive and thrive in a competitive, changing environment. This sort of thinking must account for economic realities, market forces, and available resources. Strategic thinking requires research, analytical thinking, innovation, problem-solving skills, communication, and leadership skills and decisiveness. Of course, I saw this on cmo.com, this definition of strategic thinking. Somebody I'm going to make a lot of reference to in the course of our time today is Rich Howarth. I consume quite a number of his material, and he has a very, very fine collection on this subject of strategic thinking. So Rich Howarth said, strategic thinking is defined as the generation of insights continually to achieve advantage. And if there's any definition I want you to hold on to as we go along, it is this one. Strategic thinking is defined as the generation of insights continually to achieve advantage. The generation of insights continually to achieve advantage. We are still defining what strategic thinking is. Another fantastic mind I studied after in the course of my research is John Reynolds. Okay, I follow him on LinkedIn, and this is what he had to say. John Reynolds said, strategic thinkers are those individuals in your organization who are able to assimilate external opportunities and threats, apply their professional judgment, that is experience and intuition, interpret creatively the opportunities presented, assess these new opportunities in conjunction with the organization's current plans and desired future, and then lead and communicate with clarity and evidence these new strategies to grow the organization with intention and success. Collectively, these individual strategic thinkers create a strategic thinking culture where all employees share a common and collective future that is clear and understood by all, of both why and where the organization is going into the future. Going ahead, he said something. He said the value proposition of a strategic thinking organization is to develop a natural big picture culture where all decision making is made in a future context by all members at all levels of the organization. Where we have a strategic thinking culture, everybody in the organization will understand what the big picture is, and every decision will be made based on the big picture. Similar to what Brian Tracy said when he talked about the law of time perspective. He said that the most successful people in every society are the ones who take the longest period of time into consideration when they are making their everyday decision. When we have a strategic thinking culture, everybody on the team understands where we are going, and every decision they make is based on that big picture. Reminds me of a story I read in one of John Maxwell's book of how a lady, a janitor at NASA, was asked, "What do you do here?" I mean, this was just a janitor, but this is what the person said. She said, "I am helping to put a man on the moon." I am helping to put a man on the moon. Now, that's strategic thinking, that what I am doing is connected to the big picture. To the big picture, and every decision that is made is because of the big picture, or what James Murphy calls the future picture. Now, have you wondered whether there is a difference between strategic thinking and strategic planning? Rich Howard has something to say about that, and I want us to read it together. It is very interesting. Okay, the difference between strategic thinking and strategic planning. Now, this is what he said. Strategic thinking is different from strategic planning. While strategic thinking is the generation of insights, strategic planning is the channeling of those insights into an action plan to achieve goals and objectives. A key distinction between strategic thinking and strategic planning is that strategic thinking should occur regularly as part of our daily activities, while strategic planning occurs periodically, quarterly, semi-annually, or annually. So when we talk about strategic thinking, it's about the way you think every day, all the time. Strategic planning is channeling the insights you generate, from strategic thinking into plans and goals. And so what's popular is the strategic planning, but what is more important is the strategic thinking. 4 separate studies on leadership published in the Wall Street Journal, Chief Executive Magazine, HR Magazine, and the American Management Association, all of those 4 research showed that the number one most valued skill in leaders is strategic thinking. Now listen to this. At the World Economic Forum meeting on January 20, 2016, critical thinking was ranked number 2 in the top 10 skills needed to thrive in today's workplace. That was in 2016. Now, according to their report in 2023, analytical thinking now is the number 1 skill for workers, It is followed by creative thinking. What I'm going to do at the end of our time, and this is bonus, is not supposed to be part of today's material, but if we have enough time when we're done with my presentation, I'm going to show you the top 10 skills required for success in the workplace as at today, 2024, based on the World Economic Forum's, Future of Work report. I'm going to share that with you at the end of our time. But let's focus on strategic thinking. So quickly, what are the benefits of strategic thinking? I'm just going to give them to you straight, and then we can unpack them one after the other. Strategic thinking facilitates personal and organizational success because it enables you to do the following: anticipate, innovate, pivot, and then collaborate. Again, anticipate, innovate, pivot, and then collaborate. Let's unpack them one after the other. When we say anticipate, we mean strategic thinking helps you to predict trends, helps you to predict challenges, and helps you to predict imminent opportunities. Number 2, innovate. Strategic thinking fosters creativity and embraces new ideas, so that you can stay ahead of the curve. Number 3 is pivot. Strategic thinking helps you to adapt swiftly to changes while staying true to your long-term vision. And number 4 is collaborate. Strategic thinking will help you to forge meaningful partnerships that amplify your impact and your reach. Those are 4 benefits of strategic thinking: anticipate, innovate, pivot, and then collaborate. At anticipate, we said what? You can see opportunities when they are coming. You can see challenges when they are coming. Once you develop this skill that we're talking about today, before something becomes a problem, you will see it. Before an opportunity is perceived by every other person, the strategic thinker will see it from afar off. So it leads to, benefit number 2, which is innovation. You can generate fresh ideas. You can take advantage of what is coming. You can create solutions even while others are still focused on the present because you are a strategic thinker. And of course, number 3, then you get to pivot. You get to begin to take advantage of opportunities that others cannot even see. You can respond swiftly. I like to say to people like this: people who plan and people who plan very well. And that's what we're talking about again today. Strategic thinkers are strong with their responses, with their reflexes. When opportunities come, they can respond very fast. When challenges come, they can respond very fast. Why? Because they have made a habit of solving problems with their minds, of anticipating problems with their minds, of seeing opportunities with their minds before every other person. And of course, strategic thinking helps you to forge meaningful relationships, meaningful partnerships that amplify your impact and your reach. This is what we are saying. When you are a strategic thinker, you generate ideas, okay, on a regular basis. You are not the kind of person that when they say, oh, there's a problem here, you stop at problem. Okay, the strategic thinker sees the problem and then sees the solution. People want to work with you at the end of the day. People want to do business with you. People want to collaborate with you. So it's a major benefit when you develop your strategic thinking skill, you become the kind of person that people want to collaborate with. Now, Rich Howard did a study of 154 companies. Okay, 154 companies. And what he was looking for was what? The types of strategic thinkers that exist. And these were the criteria he used: impact of insights and then frequency of insights. So this man studied 154 companies, and the criteria for the study was what? What kind of ideas are these guys generating? That's number one. Then number two, how frequent do they generate exceptional ideas? All right, he put his study together and he used the analogy of underwater diving to describe his results. So that gives us what we call the 4 types of strategic thinkers. Okay, the first one is the beach bum. The beach bum. Like a beach bum, this person mentally lounges around and does absolutely no thinking. The person contributes no insight to the organization. That's the first level. Okay, the beach bum. The second level is the snorkeler. Snorkelers skim the surface of issues. They are the first to wave their hand in the air and say, we have a problem, but they don't offer any potential solutions. And you can see in the 154 companies that he surveyed, 9% of the people he surveyed were beach bums. 26% were what? Snorkelers. The third category is the scuba divers. The scuba divers. When these people are equipped with the right tools and instruction, they can come up with strategic insights. Okay, so the scuba divers need to be empowered. The scuba divers need to be instructed. But when they are equipped with the right tools, when they are instructed properly, they can come up with strategic insights. And the last level is the free divers. A free diver can dive underwater to depths of 8,000 feet on a single breath. These persons generate new and impactful ideas or insights for their organizations regularly. The shocking discovery from this survey is that just about 33% of the people in the 154 companies surveyed were free divers. Now, the average person can hold their breath for about 1 minute and 30 seconds. Currently, the world record for a free diver holding his breath is for 11 minutes and 35 seconds. What does that mean? The free diver has learned over time to make the most of a resource common to everybody: oxygen. And what we're talking about when we talk about strategic thinkers is the free diving strategic thinker now is the kind of person who has learned to make the most of their mind. They have cultivated the habit of generating insights habitually over and above the average person. And the good news today is it's a skill that can be developed by anybody. Regardless of where you're starting from, you can develop your mind. And that's what I'm going to move to, all right, as we begin to wind down gradually. We're going to look at 5 steps to improving your strategic thinking skills. The first thing I want you to do, however, is to go back, okay, to this diagram and answer the question: what level am I at currently? Am I a beach bum? I mean, the organization where you work, in the environment you currently operate in, am I a beach bum? Do I contribute ideas, or am I the kind of person that's just waiting for other people to generate ideas? Number 2, am I a snorkeler? Okay, people, forgive me, in almost every nation, we have a lot of snorkelers. Pointing at the problem is what anybody can do. And a lot of times, People just talk about the problems. And that's what the snorkelers do. They are the first to say there's a problem. But then they stay close to the surface. They don't generate insight. And then you ask yourself, am I a scuba diver? Now watch this. The scuba diver can generate insights, but he is not independent. So are you the kind of person that you only become strategic in your thinking when you are in the environment of strategic thinkers? Or are you that person who has learned to deep dive? You see, insight is like an iceberg. Most of the time, the tip of the iceberg is what everybody is talking about. But the free diver can go deep down and generate insights at a level where nobody is even willing to dive. And that's the level that I'm advocating that we all get to become people who learn to generate exceptional ideas, exceptional thoughts, because they have learned to stay. And I'm going to share with you in 5 steps how to improve your strategic thinking skills. Are you ready for that? Let's go. 5 steps. The first one is make time for progress. Make time for progress. Okay? Make time for progress. What are we saying? Set aside time to reflect and to plan for the future. A book I always recommend all the time is the book by John Maxwell, How Successful People Think. And one thing he said in that book is that you must have a place and a time for thinking. And that's exactly what we are saying in this first step. Make time for progress. Set aside time to reflect and to plan the future, to identify trends, to prioritize tasks, and to determine where to allocate resources. Make the time. As an organization, you need to do the same thing. I have regular meetings, and some years back, I would hold meeting with people, and I notice in like 30 minutes, sometimes 1 hour, people are tired. They are bored. But what I've found out is that the biggest of organizations, the most effective organizations, one thing they do is that they invest time in thinking. So a board meeting is not just going to be somewhere we go to while away time. It's a place where we all come with our best thinking, and then we challenge ourselves to generate the best of ideas. That's what an excellent board meeting is. It's not just for us to, dot I's and just, approve what somebody else, or endorse what somebody has generated. No, all of us come into the room with our thinking caps on, and we invest hours into generating the best of ideas. So the first thing we need to do is to make time for it. Okay, make time for progress. Number 2, be aware of your own biases. Okay, be aware of your own biases. And what we are saying is this: there is a way you think. To a large extent, or to a degree, each and every one of us have our biases. And one thing your bias will do is to shut down your thinking. So what you need to do is to identify your biases. Let me give an example. If you are the kind of person that believes that ladies are not intelligent, when you find yourself in a meeting and a lady wants to make a suggestion, your tendency is not to pay attention. Your tendency is to begin to look for the loophole in what the person is saying. And if you are that kind of person, you will not be able to appreciate fantastic ideas. You would shut down ideas. You will not listen when a lady is talking. So you need to be aware. What's your bias? For example, if you work for a boss that is demanding, that is excellent, and you have a bias, okay, this guy is impossible to please. If that is your bias, it will shut down your creative process. So you want to be aware of your own bias. I'll give a personal example. You see, when people are talking and they are slow in their presentation and they are looking for words, my bias is that the person is not intelligent and the person is wasting my time. See, I'm choleric. One of my struggles is impatience. So I catch myself, and that's why you need to be aware of your bias. If somebody is talking and the person is articulate, I tend to listen. If somebody is talking and the person is slow, the person is looking for words, I tend to shut down. So because I am aware that, look, I am that kind of person, when somebody is talking and I need to hear what the person will say, I will tell myself, calm down. It's okay. Don't worry. Let this person land. Let this person finish. And believe you me, a lot of times it is a struggle, but I am aware of it. What I'm saying is, don't be in denial. Tell yourself the truth about yourself, because nobody will tell you that you are impatient. Nobody will tell you that you are mentally lazy, that you don't like to stress yourself when it comes to thinking. If you don't like to stress yourself when it comes to thinking, you are likely not to generate fantastic ideas. If you don't generate exceptional ideas, nobody wants to collaborate with you. So you have to be aware of your own biases and come up with a way of dealing with them. Just like me, you will falter from time to time. We are human. To err is human. But because you are aware of it, you can mitigate it. For example, somebody is talking and then I catch myself not listening, or I am impatient, or I even shut the person down. Sometimes what I will do is engage the person at another time. Yeah, that thing you were trying to say yesterday, present it to me again. Now I tell myself, if it's going to take 10 minutes, it's going to take 20 minutes, listen to this person. Then I'm there. Just like a child with, a box of candy in front of him, and mommy says, don't touch it till I get back. Believe you me, I don't know what your own is, but for me, sometimes, just say it, be articulate, be intelligent. It's almost as if I want to open my brain, take out some wisdom and put it in other people's brains. But I've come to find out that if you would listen, if you will be patient, even when the person is not making sense, the person feels validated, and that's a win. Okay, the person feels validated, and that's a win. This is me speaking in public about my bias. The question is, what is yours? What is yours? So be aware of your biases. That's step number 2. We're looking at 5 steps to improving your strategic thinking skills. Step number 3, improve your listening skills. Somebody said that God gave us 2 ears and 1 tongue to let us know that we are to listen twice as much as we speak. The question is, who should I listen to? Number 1, listen to stakeholders in your life. Listen to stakeholders in your field. Listen to stakeholders in your business. Okay? It's very, very important. Thought leaders in your field, listen to them. Your co-workers, listen to them. Your subordinates, listen to them. A lot of time, the wisdom you are looking for is in the mind of somebody available to you, but that you have refused to listen to. So listen to stakeholders. So what you want to do is say, who are the stakeholders in my life? Who are the people that are affected by the decisions I make? Who are the people whose decisions affect my objective? For those of us who are employers of labor, believe you me, your best ideas, your best intentions can be thwarted by the least person in your organization. And that's why sometimes you need to listen. Captains of industries know how to go to the floor of the factory and to listen to the ordinary factory worker, because at the end of the day, they are the ones at the nitty-gritty. They are the ones, who are executing those fantastic dreams. And this is it. If they don't connect with you, if you are not listening to them, you will continue to make what you consider exceptional ideas, but they will not be able to execute it very well because there will be no ownership. Like I said, when you listen to people, even when they are wrong, they are validated. But that is a win. So you want to listen twice as much as you speak. I heard about this manager who says, I go to the meeting, I listen to everybody, then I let the best idea win. Okay? Listen to everybody and then let the best idea win. We're talking about 5 steps to improving your strategic thinking skills. We said number 1, make time for progress. Make time for progress. In other words, set aside time for reflection and for planning the future, for identifying trends and for determining where to allocate resources. We said number 2, beware of your own biases. Uncover your own biases so that you can think more clearly about strategy. Number 3, improve your listening skills. I don't know why. I think I should stay there just a little bit. I learned something so many years ago in communication, and I think I should share it with you. It is called active listening. Active listening. One of the ways you can tell you are listening is when the person speaking has finished, represent what you understand by what they have said in a question. If they endorse what you ask in the question, then you understand what the person is saying. Active listening. So somebody tells you, speaks for like 2 minutes, then you say, look, if I understand what you're saying, you mean this. If the person says yes, then you have understood what the person was trying to say. If the person says no, the person will clarify. That is another opportunity for you to truly listen to what the person is saying. Let's move to step number 4. Step number 4 is ask critical questions. We're looking at 5 steps to improving your strategic thinking skills. Ask critical questions. Learn to ask good questions to uncover better options and plans. Okay? Questions such as, is this idea from a credible source? Is this idea logical? These are the kind of questions you want to ask. And of course, for me, the most important question is why? Why? Listen, when you ask the question why, you uncover purpose. When you ask the question why, you get to the crux of issues. Okay, so you say, so we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this. You ask, why? Somebody says, we have to go in this direction. Why? It is better for you to ask the question why and answer the question why as a leader, because the people who are going to follow you are asking that same question. Once you have figured out the answer to the question why, then it becomes what you present to them as vision. So in your casting of vision, you have already answered their questions because you are also asking critical questions. Don't be uncomfortable with asking questions. Don't be uncomfortable with the fact that you are making people uncomfortable because you are asking questions. If we don't ask questions, we really don't know what's going on. So you want to learn to ask critical questions. In his book, How Successful People Think, John Maxwell says you question, accepted beliefs. The fact that everybody has accepted it. Now, you are not questioning because you want to counter. You are questioning so that you can understand. But the fact that everybody says this is the way it is done and you don't ask questions may just make you be a part of the bandwagon. And honestly speaking, you may be part of something that is going nowhere because you did not ask a question. Let me give an example. I understand there was a guy dressed in uniform standing beside a stairwell in England. And then a tourist came around and asked, so what is this person doing here? And this person says, no, that's a role that has been in his family for generations. Okay, he has this beautiful outfit, stand by the stairs, resumes in the morning, closes I think in the evening or something. And that role has been, honorary role passed down from generations to generations. And he says, so what's it about? He said, no, that's just it. They just stand there. This tourist did a bit of research and found out that guy standing beside the stairwell so many years ago, one of his predecessors was working for government and the stairs were freshly painted. So they asked him to stand there and warn people of fresh paint. And what was supposed to be a one-off became a role that was passed down from generation to generation simply because people did not ask questions. There is nothing wrong with changing anything. As a matter of fact, the only proof of effective leadership is change. But if you are not asking critical questions, you will not be able to lead change. All right? If you're going to be an effective critical thinker, a strategic thinker, then you want to make sure that you make a habit of asking critical questions. Don't confront, just ask critical questions. Why are we doing this? When did we start doing it? Where are we going with this? When is it going to stop? Are we making money from this thing that we are doing? Do we have to put 3 people to do it? Can 2 people do it? Somebody says, no, 2 people cannot do it. Have we assigned it to 2 people before? Okay, let's experiment with 2 people and see what happens. By all means, ask critical questions. And finally, this morning, consider consequences. 5 steps to improving your strategic thinking skills. Okay, number 5 is what? Consider consequences. When you are thinking, when you are making a decision, that you feel good about it is not enough. You've got to be able to think through to the natural outcomes of the decisions that you are making. And this is what I found out. There seems to be a debate about thinking and feeling. And honestly speaking, there shouldn't be a debate because the 2 of them are important. But this is what I found out. A lot of times we shut down our thinking because of the way we are feeling. And that's where we make mistakes. So you are making a decision. This is what I found out. When you are imagining something that is very nice, I understand that dopamine is released into your system. It's the feel-good hormone. So you are thinking about this idea, but it's a good idea. And the challenge at times, even for leaders, is now you don't allow people to ask critical questions, and even you are not considering the consequences, okay, of this decision that you have made. And what that does is it feels good when you are thinking about it, but somewhere along the line as you are executing, you are going to meet brick wall. There's going to be pushback, and if care is not taken, you may fail, you may struggle along the line, and it is because you did not consider consequences. Allow me to borrow the words of Jesus where he said, "Which one of you, intending to build a tower, will not first sit down and count the cost to see whether he has enough to finish?" The beautiful, principle here is you need to figure out the end from the beginning. Okay, from the beginning. If you can lay your hands on the book by John Maxwell, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, there is a powerful chapter in that book. Okay, it's the law of navigation. The law of navigation is connected to all that we're talking about today. The law of navigation. Okay, the effective leader plans the whole journey in his mind before taking the first step. So you go to the end, you see it to the end. What are the natural outcomes of this decision? Let me give an example. Say there's this new product in the market that is good for your organization. It's going to cost 2.5 million. Okay, and if we buy this equipment, it will take our sales to another level. Yes, fantastic. It will improve our productivity. Fantastic. But the truth of the matter is that the organization currently has 3 million in the account. So if you buy this new device for 2.5 million and today is the 22nd of February, it means the organization will not be able to pay salaries at the end of the month. That is the consequence of, but in the euphoria of let's grow the business, let's scale, let's move things forward, sometimes we make decisions without considering consequences. And before you know it, the very people that will use the gadget that you have stretched to buy are the ones that will mishandle it and will treat it shabbily because they think you value your vision more than their welfare. And so it's important that we consider consequences as we make decisions. A lot of times, ideas are fantastic in our minds. It is when we put them to paper, when we start discussing with other people, that we begin to see, hey, there's a problem here. And that's why, for me, I would combine principle number 4 and number 5 together. Ask critical questions, consider consequences. Ask critical questions, consider consequences. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I have come to the end of my presentation for today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of Life and Leadership today.